question does have to do with private insurance, which is a whole other animal now. So, federal candidates. Obviously, two questions. There's been the ongoing argument of repeal, excuse me for using the phrase Obamacare, the ACA, or repair. And if so, how do you do it? And what do you think about single payer or Medicare for all? Are these workable solutions? And how do we solve this financial? This is a draw on school districts. This is a draw on private industry. I know the check I'm writing for health insurance is unbelievable. So we're all getting hit by it. How do we fix it? Mike, you want to start?
Sure. 45 seconds.
45 seconds. So it'll be an hour. So let me just start with a side story as a small business owner, because I come from experience on this side, well, two experiences. One is, I think some of you have heard my story, that every year before the Affordable Care Act, every year I had the naive belief that I could fully fund healthcare services for my employees and their families. And every year my healthcare insurance went up 30%, and it got to the point where it was just ridiculously out of control. And of course, unfortunately, I couldn't afford to be able to fully fund healthcare, because I grew up under a single payer plan. As an Army brat, it worked just fine for me. And you know, I'm now in the VA system. I'm a service-disabled veteran. And I would say the VA system healthcare works wonderfully, because they are able to negotiate their pharmaceutical discounts for, you know, volume buys and things, which Medicare is obviously prohibited. So there's one idea to be able to fix. I think the single payer option, Medicare option, I appreciate your bureaucracy comment, because I think that's something that needs to be addressed. I think that's a valid option. What I say is the Affordable Care Act is a good start, but it's not nearly enough to be able to solve the problems, because I do know that there are other additional horror stories for other small business owners. You know, case in point, a fellow West Point colleague who's a business owner, he was paying about $300 or $400 for him and his two sons who are in their 20s. With the Affordable Care Act, he's paying $1,200 because he's getting services, or he's having to pay for services that he doesn't need, like well baby care and other things. So, you know, there's options that we can do to fix it, and I think one of the things that we won't do is how Congress is now voting 30, 40, 50 times to you know, disband it without a solution. You know, as I mentioned earlier, my father taught us to put up or shut up. So if you're gonna vote against something, at least bring a solution and have an option, have some sort of an option. My proposal is to let's open up the public option, as they say. You know, I hear horror stories from the Republicans that say that it's going to be too cost exorbitant. It's like, you know, show me the numbers, because I've been living it. It looks, you know, it's worked for me. So.
Would you consider opening up the state borders for insurance companies?
Well, you know what? That's a very good point, because one of the things that I forgot about that. Thanks, that's a good softball. One of the things I was amazed about as a business owner, we had our healthcare, Blue Cross Blue Shield, and nothing disparages anyone in the insurance company here in Pennsylvania. I had employees nationwide, and in Texas, the same service was going for $500 a month here, was going for $2,500 a month down there. And it's because of the federal laws on the insurance process. It's so arcane, and absolutely, that's a great point. That I absolutely would say yes. We're make it a you know, a non-state specific insurance, and I think that's going to be a really tough road to working with our state legislatures to make sure we get rid of that extra bureaucracy.
California is right now paying 30% less than what we are paying, and the cost of living is about 30 to 40% higher than ours.
Yeah.
So it makes no sense.
There's a lot of things that don't make sense, so that's
anyway.
the reason I'm running.
Marilyn, you want to take a shot at this? Again, 45 seconds, solve it all, right?
Okay, well, the Affordable Health Care, it's good to have universal coverage. I think we all agree with that. I mean, I was shocked to hear how many of my students